before I get started, I just want to point you guys to some really amazing resources. I know some of us are slammed and working like 24 hours a day, but other of us are maybe somewhat bored. So check these things out. This is really cool. First off, and by the way, all the resources that I'm showing you here, I'm going to include them in the follow-up email, so you'll get them pretty soon. Okay, if you want to learn Gradelink like in a step-by-step fashion, we actually have this cool training online for administrators and one for teachers. This is what they look like, and they're found on community.gradelink.com. So again, I'm going to send you that link, but it's about an hour and a half. It's like a YouTube video that's broken up into like 3 to 5 minute sections and then asks you a question, multiple choice question in between. All right.
That is a great resource.
And our desire is that we really want to help you succeed, and we love the idea when we get quotes like this, we do not need to set aside days for teachers to do training. That's what we want. We love that. We want it to be quick and fast. Also, if you're not aware, you actually have your own customer care rep. This is not stock photo. This is our actual office. These are actually people helping people. And so if you don't know who your rep is, it's probably the person who tends to answer the phone or emails you back. We have the system so it'll automatically contact you automatically. And again, if you just need some questions, just send out an email to service@Gradelink or give us a call. Here's our contact info. We realize some of you guys are rocking and rolling with Gradelink, and others you might be struggling. If you're struggling, we want to help you. We're not mind readers. Call us, send us an email. Your customer care rep will get back to you, and we're here again. Okay, other cool things. I tend to get people ask, hey, we've been using Gradelink for a while, and I know that you've added a bunch of things, and we're afraid that maybe we're just underutilizing it and want to see what else we can use it for. Where would I go?
That's right. Gradelink's been adding a ton of new features as we've gone along over the years. So a great way to keep up to date with that is to really go to this link that Steve's showing us right now, gradelink.com/features, and you'll be able to take a look at all the features that you might currently be underutilizing.
Yes, definitely true. So go here, you'll be able to see there's a big list. I'm only showing, it's alphabetical, so I'm only at the level C here, but the list keeps going if you scroll down. You know what I just thought of, Vince? If I decide who the winner is at the end of the webinar, all I have is things like viewer 35, viewer 20. I don't have a way to actually get in touch with the person who said this. So we're going to have to actually pick a winner, and then that person, we'll just DM that person, and they'll have to just send us back their contact info. I think that would, or if they wrote their name, if they changed their name from viewer like 40 to something else, then we can actually
make it a little more personal.
Yeah, that could work.
For all of you viewers on here, if you wanted to actually change what's being displayed, I believe you can click on.
That's fine. How about this, Mark? Why don't you please pick a winner, and then we'll have a little break sometime in the middle, and we'll just DM that person directly and ask them for their contact info.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, so keep them coming. All right. Other cool things is there's a lot of integrations, right, Vince?
That's right.
And if you don't know where these are,
few, and one of the most anticipated ones is Google Classroom. That's coming around the corner. We're actually going to be integrated with Google Classroom.
Yeah, actually, I talked with Director of Tech just a little while ago, Jonathan. He was in here, and he was telling me that they're actually doing some beta tests, I think next week, with a handful of different schools. So thank you for the guinea pigs out there, if that's you. And Vince, tell us, what is websites.gradelink.com all about?
So many of you might be familiar with the student information side of Gradelink, but Gradelink also offers school websites that are really easy to manage, and we help you manage them on top of that. So it's a service that we have where we actually build you a school website that's specifically designed based on our many years of experience in the education industry, where these websites are specifically designed to help you as a school increase your admissions by having things like clear call to actions, following the 5 website must-haves, which is something that Gradelink is really...
a methodology that we're adopting, right?
What's that?
It's like a website methodology that we have a sort
Exactly.
of a stance
We have
for
our
how
own
to
website
market a school.
methodology specifically for K through 12 private schools, and it works really well in terms of booking tours, communicating with your parents, having a website that really expresses your brand message. Something else that we offer is a free website analysis. If you've got a current website, then you can head over there, schedule yourself a quick 15-minute session, and we'll do a free analysis of your existing website. And if you're interested, you can also find out more about the website services.
Yeah, so definitely take it out. So yeah, just go here. It takes 15 minutes, and you can actually get a professional just to go ahead and look at your website and tell you what to do better, and what you're doing great already. Okay, check this out too. Other cool resources. If you're sort of new to Gradelink and you just want to get, like we have kind of a replay of this, but in shorter format. If you go to our website, click Watch a Demo, you're going to be presented with kind of looks like Netflix, like a series of short 1 to 3 minute videos on various topics. And they're somewhat entertaining, I believe, and I think they're fun to watch. So take a look at it. Okay, other cool guides and things like this. This is cool. Okay, there's a ton of stuff under the guides and webinars, but the one that I want to show you that is the best is this private school inquiry. So if you're saying, hey, how do I do tours and how do I respond to parents and all this kind of stuff, if you can set aside literally 5 minutes, this video is going to be so awesome. It's going to revolutionize your admissions. I work with hundreds of schools. I go to see school websites all day long, all the time. So I know what people are doing on the admissions front. And I literally only have seen one school do this, and it's obviously my kids' school. So they're doing it, but I want to see everyone else is doing it, because literally the week we put it in, or we put it on like on a Friday, but like the following week, they got 8 inquiries. You could do it. It doesn't cost you anything at all. So please check this out. This will be a link in there. And then we've got a bunch of COVID resources as well for online learning. And under the blog, this is the best blog, and the links include on there too. Free and even free or cheap non-profit stuff. So bunch of good stuff in here. Google Classrooms, Google like setup, the Microsoft Teams setup. There's a cool fundraising or AKA development software that you can use. It's totally free for nonprofits. So if you're it's just awesome. I was working with another school and they were like, oh my gosh, it's like deal after deal. All right. Warm up your hands. Here we go. We're getting started. Okay, user accounts. User accounts are like your parents, your teachers, your staff, your administrators, your board. Everyone needs access to the system, but not the same level of access, right? So this is how it works. You've got a super administrator, someone who can do anything at the school. They can access enrollment, communication, grades, report cards, etc., right? Now, we recommend that you don't have just one of that person. So if that's you and you're the only person, can you imagine if you're sick that day or you're just swamped, then you're potentially the bottleneck. So we want you to have like 2 or 3 super users. Just so it happens, this is like, what's that movie with the 3 Charlie's Angels? Okay. So here, there's a step below that, which is the limited admin. This is great if you've got someone who, is an administrative staff, but you don't need them access every little thing. Actually, the one that I didn't put in here, which is obvious, is medical. So if you have if you're providing any medical assistance back when school starts again, that would be an area where you can actually limit who has access to medical records. So you basically check off boxes.
Right, Steve?
What is it?
Very useful for school nurses especially, or someone who handles specifically that medical information.
So let me just show you how this works here, and give me a second because okay. So John Adams, he's a super admin, and I know that because it says full admin, okay? And then this is fun. Will Farrell is limited, or admin limited. It says admin limited, and look, he's a doctor. It says medical. That's the only thing. So all of these items down here, if you want to give Will Farrell more things, you just check off the boxes.
That's right. There's certain areas of Gradelink, as you can see from Steve's screen, you can specifically check the boxes that you want a specific user to have access to. All the other stuff will be hidden on their interface when they log in.
Yeah. And I should point out, this will come up later, but there's also a cool thing for notifications. So you have notifications for like discipline, communication, prospective families. If you use enrollment, you have a set of enrollment communications. So these are automated. You just check them off and you get notified whenever those events happen. And that's on a per user basis. So that's really helpful. Okay. Okay, teachers. Obviously, they have access to the classes, but they're limited by default to the classes that they teach. So for instance, if we've got Pablo Picasso over here, how about Wolf? All right, sorry. Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc is over here. She's got a list of classes on the left. So she can see and access the kids and the parents as they relate to the classes that she teaches. And they've got their own settings. Under settings is where you can go ahead and control their level of access. All right, our next group are families. So they can see academics, attendance, various reports. They got a free app. It's available in the different app stores for Google and iPhone and so on. There is a separate login for parents as there are for kids. And if the parents are separated, you can have a separate login for like mom versus dad. Okay. Okay, I'll just show you that actually. So, hey, what happened to my? All right, so here is our kids, and this is Johnny Appleseed. So if we go here to login info right up here at the top, this is where you'll see the login info. And so there's the student and so on, and there's a separate login for the family versus the student. So family meaning mom and dad. If you come up here, you can click add a second account, and then you can make a separate login for like the other family. And that's how you do it. So a separate login for mom and dad. This is mom and dad's login, and this is the student's login. And then if you check this box up here at the top and you add a second family, then when you send an email out with the login info, it'll send out two emails, one to the first family and one to the second family. And first family meaning like, I don't know, like mom and stepdad and like dad and stepmom kind of thing. Okay. All right, so this is our dream for you. We are saving time because we don't have information everywhere. Everything's located here. That's our hope. So again, in the student side, you've got spots for medical records, behavior, demographics like birth, gender, ethnicity, and so on, emergency contacts. You have a spot for all of those things. And the one that's really underutilized, Vince, is tags.
Yeah, tags are huge.
So how should we explain tags? Tags
are really a way, if I might jump in here.
Yeah.
Tags are really a way in general it's a great way to organize students into different categories. And this carries over into both reporting as well as in the communication tool. You can actually use tags to, for example, email out to a specific group of students that's tagged with a specific tag. Practical application of this would be, for example, if you have a specific club on the campus or a group, like an academics group, then you can place them inside of that by tagging them, and then you'll be able to email that specific group under communication, or you'll be able to run specific reports for that group if you want to do that.
Yes. Scholarships are a big one that people tag too. So if you have kids that are receiving like the state scholarship or funding, we can tag them that way. So watch, this is how you do it. You click in tags, and then you can type just any random thing that you want, and you can even move them around, which is kind of cool. But what we recommend is that if you're going to be using something over and over, just get it on the list to begin with, and I'll show you that in a second. And that way you can just sort of tag things. Step Up, for example, is a name of a scholarship offered by the state of Florida. So this is really fun stuff. Let me show you how you get it on there. If you've never used tags and you don't know how this is done, let me just show you. This is really cool. You go here to Admin, and you come over to Coding, and there's a long list. These are all the drop-down menus in Gradelink. So you come over here where it says Student Tags, and these are the tags I got. So if I type in here, for example, Step Up Scholarship, then you click Save, and now it's on there. So now when I go to the drop-down menu, it's there, and I don't have to worry about people spelling it various ways. It makes it easier to run reports. Here are some reports you can go. You go to View and Export, and then you can go to, like, let's say roster, and right here you can go to tags, and these are all the different tags I'm using. So I could say like cross country club. Bummer, no one's on there. All right, how about book club? Okay, we got 2 kids in book club. And then over here on the top right, I don't know if you guys see it, but there's an Excel, export to Excel icon in the top right of my screen. And then I'll save this to Excel. I can also click on this person. So this is, if I go double click on that, it'll actually pull up that kid's record. So you can see it in more detail. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Okay, okay, so in student information, there's an area called files and documents. And this sounds maybe similar, but these are actually really different things that have very different uses. So files is when you've got files like immunization records, report cards from other schools, birth certificates, and you need to attach that to the student record somehow. And so either the office staff can just drag it in, or if you're using EnrollMe, you can actually use EnrollMe, allow the parent to upload documents, and it'll automatically transfer it over to the student file area. Pretty cool. Okay, Ben, do you think we need a demo of that, or is that clear enough?
I think that's pretty clear. There's the place where you can stick all of your files and keep everything, a digital copy of everything right there in Gradelink. Great thing is it's in the cloud, and if you need access to it, it's right there. Are there limits? Like, is there a maximum number of files? I don't believe there's a maximum on the number of files. However, there is a 10 megabyte per file limit. But that's huge. You can upload a giant PDF and still not reach that limit. Like, how big is giant? Like 10 pages? Well, it also depends if the PDF has images in it or not, because images do take up more space. But you could probably, with a text-only PDF and minimal imagery, you could upload, hundreds of pages. Yeah. 10 megs is like a book on your iPhone. Like, yeah. It's huge. So you'll be fine. Okay, now the documents area is really cool. So you just go to documents, and this is where you can record things like the language proficiency, if you're like religious school, like the place of worship, the various sacraments that might be occurring. If you offer lunch programs like free and reduced lunch, you can tag the financial assistance as like free reduced lunch. Those are all built in there. Just all of those various options are just in there. So it's kind of like miscellaneous information that may or may not apply to the student. Okay, medical info. This is always fun. All right, so the medical information section in Gradelink is pretty robust. Granted, it's not going to do everything for you, but it does a lot. It's got everything from injury reports, like I fell down on the playground, to I've got allergies and asthma and so on. And it's broken up in different sections. And again, using the staff permissions, you can pick and choose who has access to that section. So I think this is worthy of actually logging in and taking a look at it. So you go here to medical, and this is how it works. So if you go to exams, then what it means is these are like the 2 exams that occurred already, office visit and physical exam, but you can add additional ones. So you just go down here. Let me go, and I can add another one. You can go ahead and add another exam, and you can pick if it's an office visit, physical, vision, hearing, screening, etc. Office visit, that means that someone, it's not that they went to the doctor's office. It means that they get hurt on the playground and they came to the school office and said, I need a Band-Aid, or I need an otter pop because my sore throat, or whatever it is. So you pick that. And then all of these things, these are kind of using tags. And so you would edit it the same way you edit tags. You go to admin and then coding. So reason for visit, let's say they fell on the playground. So again, you can go ahead and pick from a list that you put in there ahead of time because you know that's the most common way. Or you can just put in anything, honestly. It'll just work. And you can do that again and again and again. Right? But let's say they fell out on the playground, they got hurt. Okay. They fell on the playground. We found that they got a broken bone, and we gave them a Band-Aid, and we referred them to mom. Okay, and you can go ahead and put on notes like where they fell, etc. So you have it in your log and hit save. Definitely gets pretty detailed when it comes to keeping track of the medical and even incidents.
Yeah. And this goes fast if you just like it'll have some default things in there for you, but you can go ahead and modify the defaults. But that way you don't have to spend like a lot of time trying to figure out how you want to word stuff. And then when you run reports, it's like easy, like show me all the broken bones, all the scraped knees, you know, all of the Band-Aids that we gave out, and it'll just tally it up for you.
Good way to keep track of how many Band-Aids you used during a school year.
Okay, immunizations. It works almost exactly the same. These are the immunizations. If you just go here to like add one, you'll see these are all the immunizations that you're going to find. If there's a immunization that is like from another, like my wife's actually from another country, and so they have different immunizations over there. So you can actually type in like a different one, or you can add it to the list formally by going to admin if you get a lot of people from that country.
Right. But long story short, makes it really easy to, once you have all the information in for each student, for immunizations, things like that, it's very easy to run reports, see who has what immunizations, and makes everything super easy. Something you couldn't do if you had to sift through a huge pile of paper.
Yes. Okay, immunization status is more of the same. Medications, this is listing like what medications the kid is taking. This is not a log of like, on Monday at 10 o'clock I gave Susie a pill. This is just saying Susie's allowed to have Tylenol, and she's currently taking such and such for allergies. And then
very easy for anyone who's administering medical aid to the students to take a quick peek in Gradelink, see if they're allowed to have a certain medication or if they're allergic to anything, and then administer accordingly. Exactly.
And actually, cool thing is that parents can actually provide this data through enrollment, so you don't even have to type it in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then medical history, this is like, I mean, it's everything that you could have. The things that are most common are things like ADD, asthma, allergies, EpiPen, but it's got everything like seizures and skin problems and so on.
Right. So actually you mentioned Enroll.me, so through Enroll.me, a lot of the medical history as well as some of the permissions for things like Tylenol and, the basic medications, those can be collected directly through the online admissions portal for both new students and existing students. And then once you import a student and they've been accepted, then all of that information will transfer over. So a lot less data entry that way.
Yes, and accurate. So basically, we just show the parents this form for their own kid, and they edit it accordingly. That's cool. And then the other neat thing is all this stuff up here, it doesn't get shown to the teachers, except for the medical history. There's an option for you to allow teachers to see this. So if you started with Gradelink, I think something like 3 years ago, then by default, that's the default is on. But before that, then the default would have been off. So I'll show you how to edit that in a second. But basically, here, let me just show you. So I'm going to log in as a teacher, and I'm going to go to grade sheet. Okay. And as an administrator, you can do this. You can either log in as a teacher, or you can just click the grade sheet tab. And I'm going to pick, my favorite is, Frank Bueller. Okay, so you click him here. It used to be Ferris Bueller, but I was afraid about copyright stuff. Okay, so you click on him, and then you go here to medical, and then if he has anything in the medical history, it'll show up right here at the top. If it doesn't have anything, then it'll say this student has no medical issues. So this is what it is, and that's how the teacher would see what's going on with Frank Bueller here. Now, if you don't have it on, and you're like, wait, how do I turn that on? This is what you do. You go to Settings, and then you go to Teacher, and then you type in Medical right here. So you just check this box on and off, and then that allows the teacher to see medical stuff for the kids that they teach. Okay. Sound good? All right, so check this out. Counseling means, so counseling is any time that you have the pattern where you meet, something happens with a student, some kind of touch point, and you want to do a follow-up. So for a lot of schools, that means discipline, right? If they have spring butt and they're always bumping out of their chair and you got to tell them 100 times how to sit down, there's that. There's misbehavior, those kinds of things. Other schools, it might mean things like parent-teacher conferences. It could be or other schools, they also use it for just bragging on the kids. Like, hey, your kid, finally remembered to do such and such, or your kid opened the door for the girls, and that was awesome. You know, all those kinds of things that kids do that are just awesome throughout the day, and we want to acknowledge it. You can do it this way as well. So you got to work within your school, but you basically get presented with a form where you can go ahead and categorize those events, and then you can list the location and the result and all that. So let me show you how that works. I'll show you that in a second, but here's the cool thing. Once you have it, you have an additional option to say, okay, do I want to share that with the parent? Do I want it on the parent's login, and do I want to send them an email notification when that happens? You can choose that. That's kind of an on or off option. So let me show you how to do that. It's pretty easy. So first, what you do is you go down to the settings, and you would go here to parent and teacher, and right here it says show discipline on the parent login. That's what you do. You just check it on or off. And then there's some different options in here about how you name it and how much they can see and so on. So it's all pretty self-explanatory. And then over here for teachers, there's another checkbox that says enable access to the discipline on the teacher login, which is a pretty common thing to do. And then you'll decide whether they have additional access on these items, which is, they're pretty straightforward. Just read the sentence. Let me show you how it works on the teacher side. So the way you get to it is you come here, you click on it. Let me start from the beginning. So I'm going to go to Frank, click on Frank, and then up here at the top it says discipline. And these are all the things that have happened. So as a teacher, I can see things going back like till kindergarten, like everything that ever happened. So that gives me a good idea of what kind of pattern this kid has. Then I can click add new incident. And then here's the form. Now as an administrator, you get to pick what things are in the dropdown. So my demo database that I'm showing you here is not going to be the same as yours. You can modify yours. So I've got in here like bullying, cheating, counselor, defiance, all kinds of things in here. So you can put whatever you need in here, right? But you basically check off a box or 2 or 3 or whatever. Then you put where it is, and the same thing. You can pick what goes on this list. I have generic things, but you could put in there like room 210, whatever it is that you need. And then you can write down this is what happened. And then the private notes, this is important. So when I said you could share this with parents, there's a checkbox in the settings that says, do you want to share this with parents? Do you want to share that with parents? Do you want to share that with parents? And you could say yes, yes, yes. This one is special. There is no option that says, do you want to share this with parents? So what do you put in this box? All right, good. So this is what you would put in box. Let's say, Vince, do you have a good story? Or
off the top of my head, I don't, but I think the story you mentioned last time was pretty interesting.
So this is a real story. My kid got injured. My kid's 7, so he's crashed into the wall, and he's fine. So I got a little note from the school that says, hey, your kid crashed into the wall at snack time or whatever, but he's fine. I looked at his head, he's fine. So that's cool. So right then I'm like, hey, Alex, how did you run into the wall? I don't understand that. He's like, oh, I was being chased. I'm like, but how did you not see it? Right? It's strange. He's like, okay, this is what actually happened. There's another girl who goes around and chases the boys. She tries to kiss them, and then they run away. And she snuck up on him, and he ran and then got smacked in the wall because he didn't see the wall was behind him. So that's what actually happened. So you might want to know about the kissing game that is played at lunch, right, or snack. Now, you don't necessarily need to put that in the description because you get the point. All right, follow-up actions. You come down here. You can add in whatever you need, any kind of notes and so on. And you can customize the follow-up action. So hopefully that's not too, criminalization of a story here. Okay, Enroll Me. This is a fun one. I definitely recommend Enroll Me. It's a premium upgrade. It's $4 a student a year, and it's good for new and returning students. The payoff is a ton of time, a great experience for parents. This is good for new kids and returning kids. And the best part is the new kids, it's free for the new enrollments. This is a success story. Now the enrollment process is simple. Okay, let me show you how it works.
Very simple indeed.
All right. So I'll just show this from the back end or maybe from the parent side.
You could probably show it more from the administrative side, and then maybe quickly pull up what the prospective parent portal looks like. I'm sure that would be of interest.
Okay, sounds cool.
So if you go under settings, you can access that demo databases.
Okay, I forgot. Yeah, I go to settings. Come on, internet. All right. Okay, so this is how it works in a nutshell. Parents go on the internet. They fill out some forms. Let me pull out the forms real quick. Sorry. Let me show you. You'll see it. Okay. So new parents will go to your website, and there'll be a button that says apply or enroll, and you make the button on your website, and that's for brand new prospective parents. And then they'll see a screen something like this. And then they'll come in, and I'm going to just put in, I already started a format. Then they're going to be presented with forms. Now, the forms are pretty smart, so it's going to ask them, like, are you in kindergarten? Are you in 8th grade? And it'll show them different forms depending on the age level of the kid. And different forms, whether they're a returning student or a new student. Like a returning student, you don't ask them, how did you hear about us? Right? We don't need to know that. They know that. We just ask it on the new students. So there's a bunch of forms. You pick what's on there. It's going to be things like your registration form, like your basic contact info, but also things like your handbook agreement. What are other common things, Vince, that people usually put on here?
Yeah, there's quite a few common things that schools will put on there. Things like internet permission or internet policy, so that the parents have to agree that on internet use at the school. Things like athletic permission forms, field trip permission forms. A lot of schools like to collect those types of permission from their parents during the enrollment process, so that way they don't have to worry about sending them yet another permission form during the year. It gets pretty flexible, and we can build the forms custom for every school. So it gets all the basic information that Steve's showing out of the way, and then you can move into getting things signed off by the parents, like all those permission forms.
Got it. So this is for new families, and then for the existing families that are just coming back again in the fall, how does it work for them?
So if they're coming back in the fall, then an existing parent, they will already have a Gradelink portal access. So they'll just log into their normal Gradelink parent portal, and the school will at that point have enabled the Enroll Me tab within existing parents. And then they'll be able to re-enroll directly from their parent portal. And pretty much all that consists of is after the first time that they've used Enroll Me, all that information is going to carry over from year to year. So most of the time, all they've got to do is change a little bit of information. If they need to update a phone number, an address, something like that, then they just click continue on through the form and click submit at the end. But all the information they entered previously will still be there.
Okay, cool. That's good. So it's pre-filled. And then this is like, it's not, are these like template, or does the school get to pick what fields and like what questions they ask?
Right.
Yeah. So the answer is, I'll answer my own question, but if you're looking at this, the answer is you can customize this. This will not just be totally templated. This is customized with the questions that you want to ask families. All right, so let me show you next. So
parts that are templated in Gradelink's forms, but then you can also use certain forms, and we build them into the system for you.
Right. Whoa, sorry. Okay, so here is the back end of it. This is like the admissions point of view, and so the admissions director can come in here and they can see the online forms, and these would be like what the parent already filled out, right? They can even upload file attachments and everything. They also have over here a printable contract. So by contract, what it means, we take all the data that they filled in and we put it on roughly an 8.5 by 11 paper. So it'll be a little bit different for each school because you're going to ask different questions, but it shows up here. And then you can download it as a PDF. And then here in our workflow, this is where you basically type in, like if you have any notes, these are notes from the admissions director to the admissions director. So these are like notes to self. You can put any notes in here. And then on the right, you can see like when they started, when they were approved, and so on, the different stages. The end goal, all you got to do is this. if this person is good to go and they want to come next fall and you want them to come next fall, all you have to do is say approved. And if you send them approved, then they go back in the system. Not approved means maybe they're not a good fit. Canceled means they decided not to attend next year.
Right. In short, all of those form statuses can be used to simplify the workflow. So as you're accepting applications from both re-enrollments and new enrollments, you can put them in different statuses just to see where they're at in the workflow. And then, of course, like Steve said, the end goal is that you would get them to the approved status so that you can ultimately import them straight into your database, and they'll become students in the database under the Students tab.
Exactly. And this is the cool thing too. Watch this. Where's my mouse? Oh, here it is. Okay, so, okay, sorry, I couldn't see it. All right, over here on the left, this is the total number of kids I have in my demo database for each grade level. So kindergarten, I got 0 re-enrolled, 1 new enrollment. Preschool, 3 re-enrolled and 3 new enrollments. Second grade, I got 1 re-enrolled, 0 new, right? So I can see what my count is. So that's just a kind of cool forecasting option. And then, yeah, I don't know why I can't find my mouse. Oh, there it is. There.
Seems like a little bit of computer lag, but
I'll survive. All right, that's how it works. And then you can actually set up email alerts as well for the parent and for the admissions director. So when you accept someone, you can send out an acceptance letter to the parent, and you could also get notified anytime someone's accepted. And they have that for every stage. Oh, I should ask. Okay, if someone wants to enroll me or wants to find out more or whatever, what should they do?
They should go to enrollme.gradelink.com, and they'll have an option to watch a video, contact an Enroll Me representative, and it's really easy to get started.
Okay, cool. All right, we'll put that
one
link in the
follow-up. One other thing I wanted to mention real quick, it is possible to collect if you have PaySimple, which we're going to also talk about next in the financial section. PaySimple is our partner payment processor, and if you have that in place, then you're able to also have us build a custom payment button to collect enrollment fees.
Oh, sweet. Okay, so you can collect enrollment fee. I like it. All right, and I'll include a link to this in the follow-up email. Okay, financial. So you actually have a financial system in Gradelink, and it's free. You don't have to pay for it. What you do have to pay if you want is the payment partner. So we work with 2 different payment partners that you can be used to actually collect money online with a credit card or a bank account. But the actual ledger and the financial tracking and all the reports, that's all included for everyone. So you've got it right now. And you can share parents, you can share the balance with parents and all that kind of stuff. The 2 companies that we work with for financial are PaySimple and Fax Tuition Management. And so we actually got a little blurb about them right here under gradelink.com/integrations. So this is the first company, PaySimple, and Fax is right over here. They do tuition collection. The main difference, if you're not familiar, is Fax is basically outsourcing or co-sourcing the bookkeeper's position. So the job of collecting money and balancing the books and all that is co-sourced with Fax. So they're doing that. PaySimple is it's much more like PayPal. Like you're putting a button, the parent would log in, they can set up a payment, a recurring payment. But if they don't pay or whatever, you're the one making the phone calls.
Right, and one thing to note there is that the PaySimple integration with Gradelink is far more extensive than the one with Fax. The Fax integration is primarily for the parents. So if you want the parents to be able to apply for financial aid or make a payment on tuition, they'll be able to use a single sign-on from their Gradelink portal to sign into their Fax portal.
Exactly.
However, with PaySimple, it actually
let me
integrates.
explain it, and let me just kind of explain that a little deeper. So basically, if you use the Fax integration, what it means is that parents can go to their Gradelink account, they click billing, they push one button on the billing, and it logs them into Fax automatically for them. So for parents, like, sweet, I don't have to memorize, I don't have to have like 1 or 2 passwords. I just have one in it. There's no reason why they can't access their account. PaySimple, you have the same process because it's part of the Gradelink app. But like you were saying, it's actually exchanging the financial data, right?
Right.
Sorry, Sorry to cut you off, Ben. I didn't mean to do that.
No worries. It's good that you got into a little more detail about the fax integration. That's always good to know.
Okay. Here's a picture of what they'll see. So parents can log in. You can categorize the fees as like tuition, re-enrollment. You can make up your own categories, and they'll see statements for each fiscal year and the balances for everything. It looks it looks a little different, but you have the same data on the app as you do on the desktop. Okay. And then those transactions, they can be in different categories, and you get to make up the categories. And then you can make all kinds of reports, and you can download them to Excel, PDF, and Word. And parents can also make a payment on the internet, and they can set up as recurring, so it just happens every month. You can search all the transactions. You just like type in the person's name, or you can type in the amount, or the date, or the last digits of the credit card number, or like whatever it is, and you can filter all the results pretty easily. I don't know. Anything else I should say about that?
No, I think that covers it. Of course, financial does get pretty detailed. So if you have questions about it, definitely contact our support team.
Okay, and then, viewer 82, you asked about before and after care and preschool sign-in. I'm going to try to get to it before the end. If I don't, I'm sending a link to it. It's going to be gradelink.com/demo. It's actually got a video just on that. Okay, communication. This is a fun one too. So here's the communication tools in Gradelink. The cool thing is that you already have them. I know that. All of you guys got these things, so check it out. And this is our dream for you. Parent communication has gotten better this year because of G-Link, which is fun. It sounds like a brand. Okay, so we communicate with you probably through the Gradelink News, which pops up the first thing when you log in. Now, you actually are able to provide the exact same service to families when they log in, and there's basically an on-off button. You can see here in the top left corner, it says on-off, and there's a little green dot. Let me show you how that works. So, okay, so there's school news and there's teacher pages. So if you want an on-off, you just do this. And teacher pages has their own on-off button. So they work independently of one another. You can have one on and one off, and vice versa. But basically what you do is you can put in pictures, videos, and links. And this is what the parent will see when they first log in. It's what everyone will see. Teacher pages is a little bit more private. The only people that will see the teacher pages are obviously the teacher and the students or parents who work with that teacher. And there's two options for teachers. So in this case, we've got Joan of Arc, and she teaches 8th grade, but she teaches a bunch of subjects in 8th grade. So she could make one page for each subject that she teaches, or she could say, I don't like that idea. How about I'll just make one page for everyone who has me? So she teaches 8th grade. She can basically put on her, see here I'm on the announcements page on the left. I'm going to try to highlight it, but forgive me if I do something weird here. Oh, yeah, cool. So on the left, she just put, she's onto the announcement page, which I put in a square, and then she put in there English, math, and social studies. So on one page, she just put everything. And she's like, hey, that's easy. I got one page. She could do this. She could say, hey, I'll make one page for language, one page for math, one page for PE, like that. And then on the English page, she only puts in like the English stuff, right? So those are the two options. Okay, here's some key points. Oh, you can recycle past posts. So this is cool. How do I get back? So here, let me go back to school news. This is cool. So if you wrote something every year, you can actually have your post in the past, and you can take like the old one from February that says like Happy Valentine's Day. You can grab that one. You can just change the date to February 2021, and then you publish it alive again. So that way you can just recycle your content. That's a fun one. Okay, school news teacher pages act independently, so you can have one off, one on, vice versa. And then teacher pages are limited to, oh yeah, so who can edit and see the teacher pages? You could say it's just the primary teacher, but for those of you who do like a co-teacher situation, you can have a secondary teacher. So here, let me show you, because I think some people don't know what I'm talking about. All right, this is a little niche, but if this is your niche, then it's probably real important for you. So watch. When you go to math, there's a teacher, right? Joan of Arc is the math teacher. But you could have a secondary teacher, and you just check off the box. So now Mozart is the secondary teacher.
Great.
So the question is, do you want to have Mozart be able to edit the teacher page on behalf of Joan of Arc? And Gradelink gives you a yes. You can choose if it's yes or no. You just go in the settings and you can change that. Cool? All right. Okay, there's a calendar. So there's a calendar. You can have admins and teachers put stuff on the calendar. A little secret is you are already using the calendar. Yep. And I bet if you have never even known that there was a calendar in Gradelink, cool thing is if you go to the calendar, it's filled with all the assignments and the birthdays. And here's why. Every time the teacher creates an assignment in their gradebook, a calendar event is created automatically. If they edit, delete, move that assignment around anyway, the calendar event follows it. You can edit the calendar event, it'll edit the gradebook. You can edit the gradebook, it'll edit the calendar. So they're perfectly in sync. So pretty cool, right? Parents can see the calendar as well. And so it's cool for them to, I don't know, they can see it on the calendar or they can see a list. You can also do cool stuff with the website, Vince. You can put it on there. Is it hard to put that on there?
Not at all. All you got to do is copy a little bit of code. It's an iframe code, very simple. And you can put a calendar on your website that actually displays all the events that are marked as public. So any public events that you put on the Gradelink calendar will automatically synchronize and update with the calendar that you've embedded on your website.
Okay, cool. All right, we are going to pause right now, and Mark, if you want to go ahead and DM our winner, just go ahead and get their contact info. But let's just read that quote from our favorite here, and that is, here is our favorite reason for having work at home or what's it called, quarantine life. It's having additional office staff at home, specifically the dogs.
With an upside down smiley face.
Yes. Now, a little known secret here is that Gradelink has a big soft spot for dogs, a lot of dog lovers here. And in the early days of Gradelink, the dogs actually came to the office, which made it a fun environment.
We've got one dog that still shows up from time to time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's fun.
I'm sure he'll be around after quarantine.
So thank you so much for participating. All right. Okay, we love it when people solve the communication. That's always some fun thing we want to see. Okay, here's the other thing. So Gradelink does two things. They have Smart Send and their Smart Send Pro. The Smart Send is email, and Smart Send Pro is an upgrade, and it does text and voice. So let me just show you how it works. Everyone's got Smart Send, so you can send emails in Gradelink. Cool thing is, when the parent receives it, they don't have to log into Gradelink to get it. You don't need like an @gradelink.com email. It's just like Constant Contact or MailChimp or something like that. You go, you click email, you write like just normal email, like subject line, message, body, and then you hit send. So let's see, I'll just show you how that. Go here. Mine says Smart Send Pro. Yours might say Smart Send or Smart Send Pro. But there's a button that says email, and then you just type in like, howdy, right? And then you just type in whatever you want to type. That's my email signature, George Washington, because I am George Washington in this demo account. And then I can just hit send. If you have the pro version, then you'll have the schedule option where you can go and send it at another time. Okay. The people are right here. So you could say active staff, active parents, active students, and there's a bunch of groups that are just going to be there for you. But you can make up your own, like the Robot Club or the Step Up Kids, and so on. So you can go ahead and make up your own groups. And you can take people out. You could say, not you, not you, not you, right? And this is kind of cool, too. I'll just undo some of these. You can also add in someone directly. So I can say, put in Frank. I can say, I want parents of Frank Euler. You just add one person. And I can even add people who aren't even in the database. So like my mom at gmail.com. She's not in the database, but I can add her. Then I should also add my dad. So that's how it works. You hit send, and then it sends it. When they reply, it'll go like you've got your email address. Like this is the sender address right here.
Another nice thing is it'll actually tell you if any emails bounce, so that way you can double check if any of the ones you added manually, or maybe if there's some emails you need to update in your database.
Right. So what'll happen is thanks for bringing that up. Like what'll happen is after you hit send, you'll get an email back that says an email receipt. So it'll say, hey, Judge Washington, you just sent an email. This is the people who you sent it to, and then these are the people who it didn't get to because their email was invalid or something. All right. So if you want to do the SmartSend Pro, it's $3 a student a year, and you get unlimited text and voice, and you can send it to staff, students, parents, alumni, etc. And then this is how it works. So sending a text message is exactly the same. You have the same groups. You write in, you type in whatever you want to say, and you hit send now, or you can schedule it for another time. That's pretty straightforward. The voice, let me show you. This is cool. So the voice is not a robot. It's not Siri talking or Alexa talking. It's you talking. So it will record the, you type in like your cell phone number. It'll call you. It'll record the sound of your voice saying, greetings, school is back in session starting June 1st. Fingers crossed. It'll record that audio, and then when you send it to parents, it'll play the audio of your voice.
It's a great way to send out communications to people that, are still on the traditional way of communication via phone. So sending out an automatic voicemail adds a nice touch, especially since it's not a robot.
Sweet. All right, and viewer 18, or viewer 82. Sorry to be so impersonal, but that's all I got there. Yeah, you can attach photos to emails and documents and stuff like that. It'll tell you what the maximum size. I think it's like 10 or 20 megs. You just hit attach, 10 megs. So 10 megs per file. So you could have 2 files. I mean, we'd have 20 megs.
Yeah, video. The best thing to do with video is usually just to provide a link to a video hosting service like YouTube, Vimeo. If you upload your video there, then you can just provide the link and people will be able to watch it.
Yeah, actually, we have a link on that too. So if you're like recording the Zoom meetings and you have the free version of Zoom, that means the video file is saved to your computer and it's massive. Like you can't email that thing using any email service. So what we totally recommend is actually, there's different services that'll just like upload it for you and it's free. So in these little videos here, which I'll put a link to in the follow-up email, we actually show you how to do it step by step. It's not hard, and it's so much better. You'll love it. Okay, attendance. So there's 2 kinds of attendance: daily attendance, class attendance. So this is how it works. Daily attendance is what's pretty common in elementary schools. It means you take attendance once a day for all the kids. If someone's not here, you put in a red X, right? Okay. Then and it looks like this. So you get all these, this is like what the attendance sheet looks like. That red column, I'm just showing you that you can add in your columns. You can add or subtract or rename the titles on those columns. If you already have Gradelink and you're like, hey, how do I modify or get this thing working? It's in the settings area. I can show you how to do that. I kind of want you not to just to go and change it, like just call our customer care first, because I don't want you to accidentally delete some attendance. But this is how you do it. You go to settings and you go to here, daily attendance ending at the bottom. And then these are the column names. So basically take this table, turn it on its side, and you can add in additional options at the bottom or rename stuff. But if you're going to do something like that, just give us a call. Or send an email to customer care. I want to make sure that you're not going to delete something on accident. All right. You can also do cool stuff. So if you have tardies, you could say every time you're tardy, it's worth a quarter of an absence. Things like that. So that's really easy to do. Okay. Now, class attendance means that we're taking attendance like in math class, and then again in science class, and then in English class. You can do class and daily attendance at the same time. So you could say upper grades do class attendance, lower grades do daily attendance. Make sense? Okay. Lunch billing. This is fun. So lunch is basically just a column on your attendance. Just like the other attendance values, except we check a box that says we're going to charge for this lunch value. So in the settings, there's a checkbox, if I'm still there, right here on the right. This one, billing value, you just check it off, and now you can charge for that. So you could charge lunch, you could charge aftercare, like whatever you want. Mine is called lunch 1, lunch 2. You could call it whatever you want. Now, Vince, I was thinking about this, and this is a funny thing. You know how we have it so that like 4 tardies equals an absence? That's a pretty common thing.
Uh-huh.
Well, what if you were to check a box, the lunch, like the billing, like what if you check this box that says billing value on tardy? Then every time someone's tardy, couldn't you just charge them $1?
I suppose you could do that, although I don't know if that would be very popular with the parents.
Anyway, I thought it'd be fun. Okay, so since lunch is basically just another attendance value, you can run all the same attendance reports, and you could see count of present, count of absent, count of lunch 1, count of lunch 2. Thank you, whoever said LOL. Or sorry, Sarah, thank you. You can also see just like how many people had lunches today, so you can get a quick total like that. All right, and the cool magic bullet here is that you can connect those lunch values to your financial records. So when someone checks off that so-and-so is having lunch, it'll add a record to the financial. So this is how it works. Lunch billing does not allow order in advance. What it does is it works really great in the situation where the kids come to school, and in the beginning of the day, the teacher says, okay, who's going to have lunch today? And some kids raise their hand, and then that teacher checks off the box that says what they're having. And then that creates this list, so you have a total of who's having lunch that day, and you either go to DoorDash or you make it in the kitchen, and then you pass it out, and then we go ahead and automatically charge mom and dad for the lunch. So that's where it's most successful. If you have this program for like free reduced lunch, you can have it so that like for certain kids, their lunch changes from like $5 to $2.50 automatically. And the teacher doesn't have to know who the free and reduced lunch kids are. Okay. All right. Here, so viewer 20 says they charge $10 per late, and it's really cut down on tardies. I'll bet. Like, do you want to eat out today, or do you want to be 5 minutes late? So.
All right. That is actually.
Has anyone gone to fast food lately? I live in California, so we got a little place called In-N-Out out here. It's kind of like, what's that place in Texas? It's like super famous. Whataburger. Anyone from Texas out here got Whataburger? Arizona, a couple places like that. We had it for the first time since whatever February, and it was so good. All right, sign-in sheet here. So for those of you who are, if you have like a preschool, this is really designed for preschool, but some people use it for aftercare. But basically, in preschool, typically what people have is they have a paper clipboard by the front door, and as the parent drops off their kid, they like sign their name next to the kid's name when they sign them in and out, and they just, write in what time they did. And then someone has to go and add up all those hours to find out how long Johnny Appleseed was in preschool that day. So we could help you automate that. You can create kind of like an iPad, or you could have a laptop or whatever, and it'll look like this. And the parent will go ahead and pick from the list, and you can customize the list. And then they're going to just check their kid in out digitally. And then what Gradelink will do is run a bunch of reports that checks them in, shows like their check-in and check-out time for each kid. And then it'll give you the total amount of time that they're in. So it'll say 480 minutes. That means 8 hours. It's just giving you both, like, I don't know. It's just telling you. Now, if a kid didn't get checked out, but obviously they went home, you can have the system say, okay, after 5 hours or after 8 hours, if they're not checked out, automatically add this line to Gradelink that just checks them out automatically, so they're not just billed infinitely. Okay. You can modify the times after they go in, so if you need to go ahead and edit it, you can. So that's how it is. Everyone has access to this. I don't know. Any questions I should answer, Vince?
I don't see any questions that we haven't already addressed, but we got a few coming in here, and I think we could probably spend like maybe just a couple minutes answering these. Can a parent name who checks out and in be entered? Can you answer that one, Steve?
Yeah, like they don't, like the parent basically picks their list. It's almost identical to the paper sign-in sheet. So on the paper sign-in sheet, like the kid's name is listed. Okay, the parent's name is not listed. And then the parent signs their name or scribbles next to their name, whatever you want to say it is. In the same way, the student's name is listed like in a drop-down menu for the parent. I don't have a picture of it, but they listed drop-down menu. The parent clicks that kid's name and then initials. So they'll type in, like, in my case, I'll type in SL.
Right.
So they initial it. So they don't type in their name, but, the parent will pick the name. So, okay, in my case, I'll be signing out my kid. So I'll sign out Alex, and then I'll pick my name. It'll say Diana or Steve, and I'll say Steve because I'm not my wife, and then I'll initial. And so that's it. So I don't actually type my name, but my name's on the list. And that gives the administrator a list of, like, who checked out the kid, what day, what time, and all that.
So it's pulling the information from the Students tab.
Yeah, and the way you get this set up, it's actually a class in Gradelink, believe it or not. So you go to the Classes tab, and we've got like a full tutorial on how to do this. So I don't want to go too much time, but you basically pick a class. You create a class. You call it whatever you want, and then where it says class type, this is the magic. If I can, I clicked on it. Okay, right here it says preschool is the class type. It doesn't want me to edit it, so I don't mess it up. But that tells you how to do it. Like you pick that, and then that's basically the whole thing. And then you populate the class like you normally would. So if you want to do this, just go to community.gradelink.com, type in preschool check-in, and then there'll be instructions on how to do it. I mean, maybe Mark, maybe you can send that link out in the chat. Okay, report cards. Okay, we don't have to spend hours on report cards anymore. That's what we hope to hear. If you are not in that boat, let us know. Give us a call, send us an email, because you can be in that boat. There's a lot of people who are experiencing this, and you can too. Not only that, we want your report cards to be awesome and to really highlight what you're doing for kids and families. So if your report card right now is kind of dull and drab and you want to spruce it up, let us know. We've got hundreds of examples to share with you, and we would love to help you. So I'm going to show you just a couple, but there's just tons out there. All right, Calvary Chapel, if you guys are visiting, just a little shout out to you. I think you have one of the more beautiful report cards out there. They put their logo on there. They made it colorful. They put kind of like their slogan at the bottom. This is how they did it. Stony Brook, if you're out there, awesome report card. Theirs is I don't think it's standard, it's more skills-based, but it's really detailed. Like you really know what's going on in kindergarten if you read this. So it looks really cool. San Bernardino Diocese, here's a shout out to you. They did something amazing. What they did is they did half standards, half traditional. So like at the top, because they don't want to alienate parents. So at the top, they've got a 92%. And then down below, there's the standards, like educational standards. So you could do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or you could do like master, not master, proficient, et cetera. But they did them both to really help parents get a holistic view. Here's more of a traditional, just like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Some schools do 4, 3, 2, 1. You could do that as well. Now, right now, being that it's like COVID season, some of you are wondering, like, what about COVID grading? Like, can I do A, B, C, D, F for quarter 1, 2, and 3, and then when quarter 4 comes, like I switch to a totally different scale, I'll be like pass, incomplete, or something like that, and not mess everything up? The answer is yes. We're actually working on some documentation that'll show you how to do it. You got a bunch of options on that, but I just want you to know that if that's you, we've got you covered, and we'll be sending some more resources to you on exactly step-by-step on how to do that. Hey, we got through it all. Last webinar, we had to like rush through the last slides. So, cool. Okay, I'm 8 minutes over, so we're pretty close to doing it. Okay, I'm going to stick around I'll keep this open a little bit. Thank you so much for joining us. If you've got questions, just throw them in the chat. Mark is going to be responding to them, and then, and I might too. But thanks again. I love it, and we should do this again another time. And happy Cinco de Mayo to everyone. This is our first COVID Cinco de Mayo.